Hi class, and welcome to this lecture on active reading and revision. I like to include a lecture like this at the beginning of each of my classes because I would usually talk about this in a face-to-face class situation, and I think it would be helpful to all of you. As you know, as I'm creating this lecture, I am at the end of my maternity leave, so if you hear some baby noises in the background, please feel free to ignore them. So this lecture is about active reading and revision, and I think that the two of them are very entwined. Writers are readers, and readers are writers. This is the truth. If you don't read a lot, you're not gonna be a better writer, and of course, writing helps you to be a better reader. I think these two things are really interchangeable, and it's really important to recognize that. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I want to show you first what it means to read actively, and then I want to show you what it means to take notes. That's the first thing. So what I have here is an outline that I created for a course that I am working on for my husband's company. And I told him that I would kind of go through it and make some comments and, read actively what I've already completed. Okay, so what you're going to do is if you're in Google Docs, you can go to suggesting here. And what that does is it makes it so that you can add in bubbles and you can make corrections, and they just end up being suggestions so that you can either accept them or reject them later. You can do this for peers as well, but I find that it's helpful to do this for my own work. So here you are. You're on, let's say you've written this and you need to go through it again. Maybe you've given it 24 hours since the last time you looked at it. You've got a fresh head, and that's always a good thing. And you want to go ahead and just look at it and decide what you need to change, even just little things, right? So here I'm looking through here, words and phrases not to use. I think that this needs to be clarified. So what I'm going to do is add a comment and say, be more specific, okay? So that's there for me, and I can look at it later, right? I don't think I need to say build on here. I think review week 1 is good enough. So what I can do is just highlight this and just cross it out. And what it is just make a suggestion. You can either accept that or reject it later on. But this is just a first reading, okay? This is reading actively. I do this when I'm reading online a lot in order to take notes for myself so that I remember when something might be important. So let's say I think this line is super important and I'm going to need it later on when I'm writing, right? I want to make a comment here and say, highlight for importance. We'll need this later. Okay? And this is reading actively. You might want to do this with pencil in your Norton Field Guide to Writing. Underline things that seem like they could be important or highlight them. We can highlight here as well, right? If I think that this is important, I can come up here to highlight color and I can say, okay, this is highlighted. Now, this is going to catch my eye the minute I go to it, and I'm going to know that this is important. So for any handouts I give you, anything that you're reading online, anything like that, this is a really good way to read actively. And this is just a digital way of showing you how to do it. But of course, reading in your actual book, you can underline, you can mark off pages. I used to use paper clips to mark off important pages so I didn't have to fold the edges down. This is active reading. This means that you are reading something and you're allowing yourself to take notes, but also if you're revising it, you're reading it actively and you're looking for places where you can revise. So for instance, here I am on this draft here, okay? And what I really want to do is just go through it and I want to revise. So I can do the same thing in Microsoft Word that I do anywhere else. I can go to review, right? I can press new comment if I want to put a comment in. Okay, or I can highlight something. So I can So I can come back over here. Let's say I think that I need to change something about this. I can make a comment here for my own revision purposes. And I can also highlight it. So I can go to, I think it's on home. Yep, there we go. Here's the highlight button. And now I know that this is important. You can do this for each other. You can do this for yourself. This is also reading actively isn't about just reading something that's in a book that you're assigned, but also about reading your own work. Okay, you're reading your own essay. You want to make sure that it's really well done and you want to revise it well. What we have to do is think about what is revision, right? And if I type it in here to Google, revision is rewriting. Okay, watch this. Okay, and Judy Reeves has this wonderful idea here. If we can just pull it up. Okay. That rewriting is as much a part of writing as the words you use. Joyce Carol Oates, a very famous writer, once said, "The completion of any work automatically necessitates its revisioning." So revision is not just editing. Revision means to rewrite something. So that means that if I'm over here and I think that all of this is not worth it, not working for me, I can't be afraid to go ahead and delete it, right? I've read actively, I've taken notes, and I've realized that this part doesn't work. And it's okay for me to take that out, even if I worked really, really hard on it. Okay? Sometimes it's hard to divorce ourselves from our work and make that realization, but I think it's very important for us to realize that revision is rewriting. It's not just changing the commas and the grammar, but it is truly taking things out that don't work and then adding in new content. You might think to yourself, how am I going to reach a word requirement if she's making me delete paragraphs that don't work, right? And you might not want to take anything out for that reason. The trick is to come up with new and relevant content to brainstorm. And I will come up with another lecture that I will share with all of you about how to create exercises where you can create new content. But for now, I just wanted to show you the connection between active reading and also revising and rewriting. And I do hope that this has been helpful to all of you.